If you're going to mess with one of the animals in the world, make sure you know what you're getting into. Otherwise, you may find yourself on the wrong end of some animal justice. This list takes a look at 15 land animals that mess with the wrong opponent. Number 15. Rhino versus bull as humans. We know that just about any heavy animal with horns is a risk to our life. But what do they think about one another? Well, if this video is anything to go by, they're not all that crazy about one another. Let's see what happens when an angry bull meets a PO'd rhino. The match begins as you'd expect, with both animals locking horns and refusing to back down. But unfortunately for the bull, the rhino has a lot more mass and power to lift and push back its opponent. In fact, it doesn't take long at all for the rhino to get the bull on its back. Of course, this only makes the bull more determined to get up and finish the job. Eventually, the bull seems to recognize that the rhino will win no matter what he may be able to do. In the animal kingdom, mass always wins. While this fight doesn't occur much in the natural animal kingdom, there's absolutely no question that the rhino would win every single time against the bull. Sure, they both have some anger issues, but the rhino has all that mass. Number 14. Lion versus tiger. You probably know an awful lot about both the lion and the tiger. But which one is stronger? The answer may surprise you. While the lion is heralded as the king of the jungle, they're really nothing compared to the sheer ruthlessness and strength of the tiger. And here's some proof. This video shows the matchup between a Bengal tiger and an African lion, and it's probably not the kind of thing you'd expect. When we think of tigers and lions, we think of composed and careful hunters sneaking up on their prey and subduing them. However, in this video, what we see is a much more freeform and aggressive grudge match unfolding on the ground before our very eyes. It's dirty, it's brutal, it's really something. Whichever one of them started this fight, it's immediately clear that they misjudged the whole thing. While the tiger is the stronger one of the two, there's no real sign of either animal coming out on top. In fact, it seems that every time the tiger manages to subdue the lion, the king of the jungle just frees himself and begins lashing right back. So who won, Mufasa or Shere Khan? Feel free to drop a comment down below. Number 13. Leopard Warthog. The laws of nature clearly state that the predator and prey will remain locked in a never-ending combat for good and evil, determined by a series of cards known as Yuki. Oh no, wrong topic. This is a fight between a warthog and a leopard, right? Got it. My bad. When this leopard decided to pounce upon a warthog, I doubt it ever considered the possibility of anything going wrong. After all, it's a warthog. But of course, no prey animal wants to go down without a fight. And as the warthog struggles and screams, things take a turn. After a period of spinning and flipping, the leopard appears to have gained the upper hand. Until, of course, a hyena comes to disrupt the leopard's enjoyment, chasing the predator away and allowing the warthog to run free into the wilderness. All's well that interrupts. Well, right? This matchup should have been unimaginably easy for the leopard. Taking down a warthog is basic Predator 101, but a rogue hyena's simple intervention disrupted the whole thing. I guess the lesson here is simple. Do not mess with hyenas or wardrobes, or leopards, for that matter. Basically, just stay indoors. Number 12. Zebra versus lion. Zebras, like many other gentle animals, tend to be among the most popular prey for opportunistic predators. But zebras have a well-orchestrated herd system to protect their pride from potential threats, often preventing what would otherwise be easy kills. Take a look at this video and you'll see an enthusiastic lioness keeping an eye on the pride of zebra in a field. But as usual, one of the zebra lookouts happened to notice the intruder inching closer, sending the whole pack into the sprint of their lives. As the lioness manages to close in on the baby zebra, it suffers one last surprise, a sharp kick to the face, which completely throws it off its game and forces it to give up the whole thing. That's probably not how the whole thing went in her head. Perhaps most surprisingly, there have been many reports of zebras killing lions as a result of this. Apparently, the sharp kick to the head often results in the lion's broken jaw, leading to the eventual starvation of the cat. So I guess any lion who tries to prey on a zebra is liable to discover they messed with the wrong stripy horse. Number 11. Kangaroo versus ram. While they may only exist in Australia, just about everybody knows that kangaroos are unpredictable and extremely dangerous animals, so this video probably won't come as a surprise to most. It most definitely came as a surprise to the kangaroo, though. This ram happened to have unknowingly trespassed on the kangaroo's prized land and quickly found itself on the receiving end of the roo's aggression. Every few moments, The kangaroo launches toward the ram, as if threatening its very presence on this land. But against all the odds, the ram just refuses to move. In fact, it takes great pride in the fact that it just won't. Eventually, the fight moves to a larger field, where the pair once again stand off in a war of territory. When the kangaroo finally bounces off, the ram decides to follow behind, presumably to make its point even clearer. This is admittedly one of the more unusual matchups that you'll ever see in nature. But clearly neither of these animals has any interest in backing down or giving up. So you can probably imagine where this fight went after the end of the video. I doubt they went to get a drink and become friends for some reason. Number 10. Bunny vs. Snake. There's one constant in nature. No matter the situation or the species, hell hath no fury like a concerned mother. And apparently rabbit mothers are incredibly badass, perhaps even trained in some kind of martial arts. I mean, there's really no way of knowing this black snake believed that it had hit the jackpot in finding an abandoned nest of baby rabbits. But after he got himself coiled around his future targets, things went horribly wrong. When Mama Rabbit returns, she immediately launches onto the snake and begins her incredible quest for vengeance. In the incredible fight, the rabbit eagerly starts to fight the snake, pulling it back repeatedly to teach it a few more lessons. But perhaps the greatest moment comes near the end, when the rabbit delivers one of the most perfect foo kick backflips I've ever seen. Suffice to say, the snake managed to escape the rabbit's grip. But the rabbit. Number 9. Monkey vs. Cat. This kitty cat stands his ground against 3 monkeys. The monkeys are much bigger than the cat, and when 2 more monkeys join in, the cat is clearly outnumbered. The monkeys don't attack it. They keep looking at it and ask themselves why the cat doesn't look like them. This overhead view gives us a good look of a scuffle between a cat and a monkey. The video cut short so we don't get to see how it ends. These naughty monkeys drag this poor little kitten around the kitten house, but it can't do much to defend itself. The monkeys corner the kitten wherever it goes. The poor cat is terrified, but the monkeys don't let up. However, the kitty is gutsy and doesn't let his guard down for 1 second. These two seem to be friends, but the monkey tries to grab the cat's legs and drag it outside. However, the cat is slightly bigger than our last cat and can fend the monkey off. Nevertheless, these two are buddies and mostly playing with each other. Number 8. Hippo vs. Elephants. Elephants and hippos are both very territorial. So what do you think happens when they meet? This hippo challenges these 2 elephants and is not afraid to show the elephants as huge canines by opening his mouth wide. The elephants are surprised by how many cavities the hippo has and refer to him to a great dentist. While this hippo is basking in the sun, an elephant almost walks over it and the hippo has no other choice but to get out of the way. I guess size counts when you live in the bush. The elephant keeps walking towards the hippo, and once the hippo has had enough, he runs into the water to refresh himself. The elephants enter the water as well. It appears an elephant is taking a refreshing dip into hippo territory. Will the hippos allow this, or will they give the antagonize the elephants? I'm unsure if any of the hippos will be able to stand up to this elephant because of its massive tusks. In addition, the hippos appear to be having a great time at the beach, so why should they even bother? Everything is quiet in the hippo's water hole, but this elephant is stomping towards the water dangerously close to the hippos. It appears this elephant is looking for a fight. Perhaps he's having its heatiest day. The hippos seem to be clearing the way for the elephant. Hippos do not fear elephants and will even bare their massive jaws and face off of them. But today too many of them had toothaches. Number 7. Squirt vs. Snake. Here is another battle-ready squirt that injures a snake on its head and chews part of the snake's body. The snake doesn't retaliate and tries to get away. The results of snakes and squirt fights are impossible to forecast, as is evident in this video. One squirt in particular shows on the tail of a snake to soften it up. And while they may not be mongooses, they're still terrific when it comes to fighting snakes. Check out how damaged this snake is. Who could have thought a squirt can inflict so much damage on a snake? Number 6. Rhino vs. Lions. This rhino and her calf walk right next to a pride of lions. But the lions don't do anything. They know the rhino is powerful and dangerous, and even this male lion gets up and leaves when it knows the rhino is approaching. A few lions annoy this rhino, but the rhino wasn't worried. The cats are not overly aggressive, and after running back and forth a little, everyone calms down. While lions can't get close to the rhino's horn for fear of being gored, they keep their distance knowing they're protecting themselves. Despite his efforts, the lion is unable to flank the rhino with its immense strength and hulking frame. I seriously doubt these lions can do anything to the rhino. Still no movement from the rhino. It's just sitting there, and the cats are waiting. This rhino is enjoying the cool water in a water hole when a few lions come to greet it. Of course, they just want to eat it, but it's not realistic. They're better off targeting a smaller animal at this point. Number 5. Dog versus snake. These dogs notice a snake in the bush, and one of the dogs rips it out of there. The snake falls to the ground, and the dogs bark and bite at it. The snake doesn't move until one of the dogs, Fox, tries biting and lunges at the cameraman, filming the snake's ordeal. The kids finally grab the snake and pull it out of there. These two Silvermans give a snake a beating as they grab it in their mouths and tear it to shreds. This snake is a little more aggressive as it lunges at the dog to try and strike it. But as soon as the dog can bite the snake, these 3 dogs corner a snake and the Rottweiler tries to bite it, but the snake is vicious and stands its ground. This brave dog chases a cobra trying to escape after realizes it's made a mistake going to this house. The dog bites and grabs the snake, but only for a few seconds. The cobra is still standing and ready to strike, and the fight continues until the wee hours of the night. Number 4. Angry cats versus dog. Always the tough guy. Dogs seem to think they'll have the upper hand when it comes to a one-on-one with a cat. But 9 times out of 10, they're wrong. In this clip, the interaction between the cat and the dog is nothing short of hilarious. The cat is clearly not interested in chatting, and you can tell by that noise it's making unfazed. Our hapless canine friend presses on only to discover that this tough time means business. The cat hisses and swipes at him, and the poor guy runs off, whimpering loudly while the vicious feline chases him. Let's hope for his sake he got away. Those claws can be nasty. Number 3. Hippo learns lesson from rhinos. Typically found waiting in water, the dirtier, the better. A hippo can be seen playing amongst a small group of rhino in the dark of night. The group seems to be minding their own business when the hippo sets his sight on one of them, starting to chase it around as if want to play a game of tag. The rhino isn't having it, and with a nip to its buttocks from the hippo starts to gallop away. If he thought the game would end there, he was wrong. As the hippo chases after him, both animals are heavy-set, built to withstand a bit of a scrap with the other or an animal of similar build. But the rhino has had enough and turns to face the hippo. The hippo immediately opens his mouth wide, as if to appear bigger and tougher. In fact, it's almost like a mating ritual between the pair. Clearly sick of being harassed, the rhino butts him with his horn on the behind, sending him scampering off into the distance. Quite funny really, considering he started it all. In fact, those who filmed it can be heard chuckling to themselves as the hippo disappears. Number 2. Zebra kicks blue. Wildebeest lights out. This poor wildebeest got a raw deal when a zebra planted a well-placed hoof on his head. The group of zebras and wildebeests are gathered together around a small watering hole. Most are just quietly nibbling at the ground below, when all hell breaks loose. Literally, the juvenile wildebeest is kicked in the head by a zebra. The animal immediately drops to the ground in pain, and the rest of the pack scatter to avoid any further confrontation. They all slowly make their way back. However, with some looking to help, the prone wildebeest that is clearly stunned can't even make it back to its feet. That was either one tough or one very bad-tempered zebra. I wonder if the whole pack had a history of rivalry, as when watching the video, you got the feeling there's some tension between the two groups, and this incident wouldn't have helped matters at all. We can only hope the poor wildebeest was able to come to his senses by nightfall. Number 1. Gorilla sucker punches another unruly gorilla. This footage was taken at the San Diego Zoo back in 2012, and it's gone viral across social media platforms around the globe. A group of gorillas are sitting inside their glass enclosure when one of them, looking for something to do and keen to play up to the gathering audience, wanders over to a younger member. He picks the smaller gorilla up, throwing him up in the air and rolling him over. It looks to be all in fun. But another gorilla takes offense to the game. Whether they got the wrong idea and thought the other gorilla was being a bit rough, I'm unsure, but he was quick to break up the party with a swift punch to his roommate's chops. The crowd laughs, and our gorilla pal appears slightly embarrassed, and so too does his young friend, who looks like a sullen child sitting in the corner. Not content with having his pride hurt in front of spectators, the larger gorilla honors past his young friend again, only to be whacked again by the obvious king of the castle. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. That's it for now.